The purpose of this video is to demonstrate how to use Microsoft Excel to calculate some summary statistics on a set of data. I'm using some data from chlorophyll levels in sunflower leaves grown in two different conditions, so some control plants and some experimental plants. The summary statistics that I want to calculate are shown over here: mean, standard deviation, the count, and the standard error. And to use Excel, we can just type in formulas for these. Whenever you type in a formula, you start with equals. For the mean, we want to use the formula average. So I can double click when it comes up, average, and then I'm going to select the array of the control plant data. And then Excel calculates the mean for me. I probably don't want to show that many decimal places, so I will reduce that down to 2 decimal places. Two digits after the decimal is probably sufficient. Then instead of retyping that same formula for my experimental plants, I can simply drag on this little square and pull that formula over into the next column, and you will notice that it changes so that it's calculating for column C instead of for column B. All right, then we can use another formula to calculate the standard deviation, equals STDEV. And I like to just use the STDEV one, so I'll double click that. Again, I'm going to select my array of data, close the parentheses, and hit enter or return. And again, I will decrease the decimal or the digits after the decimal. Again, I will drag that over. So the standard deviation is a way of looking at the variability in these data. So it looks like the control plants have a little bit higher mean and a little bit less variation from measurement to measurement. Another useful statistic is simply the number of observations. I could probably count them up, or to make sure I'm getting an accurate count, I can ask Excel to count them for me. So I use the formula count. Again, I'm going to select the data array and close my parentheses and type enter. And I can see that I have 12 individual measurements in each of these columns. The standard error is another measurement of the variability that we often calculate so that we can use it for making error bars on graphs. Unfortunately, Excel doesn't have a formula to calculate standard error, but we can put it in ourselves. So the formula for standard error is related to standard deviation, so it's equal to the standard deviation, so I can just click on the standard deviation that I've already calculated, divided by the square root, and we use the formula SQRT, double click, and then again the square root of the count. So I've already calculated that, close my parentheses and enter. So my standard error is 3.11. We'll decrease the digits again, and I'll drag that over, and I get 4.03 for my standard error for the experimental plants. Now, a little bit easier way of calculating all of these summary statistics is to use the data analysis. And to use the data analysis function in Excel, you go to your data tab and click on data analysis. If you don't see this data analysis option up here, then you can go into your Excel options and click on add-ins, choose the analysis tool pack, click on go, and then make sure the analysis tool pack is selected. And it is in my case, so I'll just click OK. All right, so go into data analysis. We're going to choose descriptive statistics and then click OK. Then I get a dialog box and it asks me to enter my input range. And so to enter the input range, you're going to click on this little colored box. You're going to select all of your data, including the labels, control and experimental, and click on this data little box again. My data are grouped by columns, so that's correct. I have labels in the first row, so I've checked this box. And then where do I want my output? I've selected to put my output range on this same spreadsheet, and I'm asking it to put my output starting in E2. And I'll just show you how I selected that. Actually, I'll put it over here in E2. And then I've checked the box that says summary statistics, and I should be ready. So I'm going to click OK. And notice that it has done all this work for me in a fraction of the time. So my mean is 69.10833, which is the same as the mean I calculated before. My experimental plant, 61.633. We have the standard error calculated here. And it has a few other things that we didn't bother with, the kurtosis and the skewness and the range and the min and the max. But all of the summary statistics are here if you want to use them from here. And that's how you use Excel to calculate summary statistics.